Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. The price of XRP is hanging at a fairly critical level. It's below 54 cents. That's a level that was very recently resistance, flipped as support. It's been holding for most of the last week. At the moment, at least briefly, it's below it, so hopefully pops above. But this isn't something that's uniquely problematic with XRP. It is the case that the entire market is down, at least to some, well, not literally the entire market, but across the board, it's looking pretty red out there. Not that the sell-offs have been dramatic, but this has been led by Bitcoin. And so I'll just say, despite this, there's a lot of stuff that has been up dramatically lately. It's just amazing. Like, despite all of the negative sentiment out there with XRP, I'm telling you, I hold a number of coins where in those communities, the sentiment was just as poor, and they ultimately took off. It seemed impossible until suddenly it wasn't. The same thing, I believe, will be true of XRP. Unless you think the whole market's going to tank, and then if that's the case, okay, fine, then nothing else goes. But I find that, less likely, let's say. But, for instance, VeChain, that's in the last couple months or so, that's more than double what it was. I know it's more than double what I paid for it. There's also HBAR. HBAR is up substantially. That's probably up, 2.5 in the last couple months, 2.5x roughly, maybe a little bit more than that. There's Flare, up 5x from its bottom on October 19th. These are all coins. Nothing wrong with them. I hold all three of those. They were, from some, they're just screaming, these coins are dead, they're not going, there's something wrong. Same crap with XRP. So despite all of this, I'm still optimistic. We're going to see much higher price levels for XRP specifically. I'm still confident in a new XRP all-time high finally getting hit, entering price discovery. We just don't get to choose when that happens. So let's talk about what's going on in markets. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Oh, by the way, actually, another one just popped in my head. Filecoin. That's another one. Oh, it's crap. And everybody, they bitch about the tokenomics with all of these coins. Every single one I just listed, all four of them, plus XRP. Oh, the tokenomics, they're so bad. People just say this. Like, do you know what the word tokenomics even means? I kind of wonder if some people don't even get it. But, that term's always bandied about. And as I always say, it's not that tokenomics don't matter, but you know what matters more is demand. And you know what we get in bull markets? We get lots of demand. That's way more important. You can get a substantial increase in the money flowing in. But Filecoin's another one that's up more than at least double, maybe it's 2 or 3 times up within the last couple months or so. And so, but all of these coins, they were supposed to be dead, except for they weren't. Here's the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, 72 out of 100, so slipping down below extreme greed. We're just in a good old regular greed right now. And there's this post I wanted to share from Zero Hedge, which I just found kind of interesting and perhaps a little bit ominous because, as everybody is aware at this point, I'll assume, crypto is treated the same as equities in that equities and crypto are treated as risk on assets. So, as a result, that's why when we see the biggest moves for these asset classes, they move in tandem. They just do. So if the stock market's going to be tanking, crypto's going to be tanking with it, in all likelihood. And so this is a little bit ominous, but from Zero Hedge, they wrote, the S&P's 2.1% rally Thursday came with less than 60% of stocks on the New York Stock Exchange advancing. The mismatch was seen just 3 other times in the past 60 years. 1987, 2008, and 2020. Yike. Singular yike. It's not full-blown yikes, plural. It just was singular yike right there. We know what happened in these years, right? 87, 2008, financial collapse, 2020, pandemic. Okay, we'll see what happens here. And still, look, nobody knows for sure it's going to happen, but the vast majority of analysts, I'll just say right or wrong, they are optimistic that we're going to be seeing things go much higher in both the worlds of equities and crypto throughout 2024. There's also this perspective from Rakesh Upadhyay. He wrote this for Cointelegraph. He's a chart analyst here. Bitcoin has been facing stiff resistance near $52,000, increasing the possibility of a short-term correction. The sideways action resulted in net outflows of roughly $36 million from the spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds on February 21st, according to various sources, including BitMEX Research. However, the bleeding stalled on February 22nd, and the day saw net inflows of about $251 million into the ETFs. Some analysts believe the markets are ready for a pullback before the halving in April. Popular trader and analyst Rect Capital said Bitcoin's current bull phase is similar to the 2016 and 2020 bull runs. If history repeats itself, a pre-halving retrace followed by a post-halving reaccumulation period is possible. Bitcoin's hesitation to continue its rally has triggered profit booking in select altcoins. A corrective phase is positive for the long-term health of the markets as it shakes out the weak hands and allows the stronger hands to add at lower levels. And so I think that's a rather key point, because anytime you see price go down, people start to get a little scared, get the feels hitting them. But this would be very normal. We haven't seen crazy drawdowns recently, other than obviously the sell the news event with the Bitcoin ETF, but even that wasn't that crazy. How much of a dip was that? Like 18 to 20%, somewhere in that neighborhood? Nothing crazy. We've seen way worse than that in crypto, and then we've seen the market rally even higher. So is it possible we could see things go a bit lower? In the short term, certainly yes. And if that happens, I'm sure, XRP is going to get knocked down a bit, just like pretty much every other altcoin under the sun. But it's not exactly the end of the world. And here's what Credible Crypto had to say about this. Because he had acknowledged in a recent post about a month ago, actually. For the sake of time, I'm not going to read it. It's from January 25th, though. He was noting that, quote, may revisit those local highs, end quote. And here's what he had to say. This is his most recent post on this from just this afternoon. And this is an ETH BTC chart on your screen. Retesting the aforementioned local highs just now, as previously stated, this was always an acceptable level to retest on a dead cat bounce. Think our upside/relief on ETH/BTC is nearing its end. Bitcoin, time to shine again soon, which makes sense as we have been in a tight consolidation range for the last 10 days, and a break of this range, regardless of up or down, likely results in increased volatility on Bitcoin and underperformance on most alts, including ETH. And folks, he didn't say XRP here, but that would include it's all alt. If this happens, and of course, people in our community, if it goes low enough, are going to be screaming bloody murder again, even though it's just the market moving in tandem, but it is what it is. And then he says, in these stages of the cycle, alts tend to outperform in short windows, while Bitcoin ranges/consolidates, and tend to underperform as Bitcoin breaks out and continues impulsing to new highs. And so he's acknowledging there's a possibility we could see Bitcoin pull back a bit here, but he says that's not going to change anything. And look, if he's right directionally, and we are going to hit a new all-time high at some point, whether it's 3 months from now, 6, 9, 12 months, whatever it is, it's not going to matter. And people will be screaming bloody murder, though. There's this post from chart analyst Matthew Hyland, who wrote, Bitcoin Weekly could form bearish divergence here. We won't know until Sunday night. Holding above $49,000 is more important, however. And so I'm seeing that I checked a ton. I follow a lot of analysts, so if I literally highlighted perspective from every analyst that I follow at every single video, it would be overkill. It would be a really long video, and then there would be a lot of opinions that are kind of samey, because it just seems like there's not a strong consensus at this point as to what's going to happen here. It's just there's a suspicion that Bitcoin's about to break, and then it drags the market up or down. Basically, we're going to see something soon. And here's a post from another popular analyst, Kevin Svensson, and he wrote, Bitcoin demand is very high right now. Price unable to cross below $50,000. Despite the sideways action, what's clear is that the market currently considers $50,000 fair value. And okay, fair enough. But I don't know if this is going to age well. Maybe it will. Again, the price at the time I'm recording is $50,770. It is totally plausible that we could dip into the 40s again before seeing a move to the upside, if that's directionally where we're going to head anyway. There's also this, though. And this is one of those posts where it's kind of like, yes, inspiring. It's from an account called Crypto Amsterdam, who wrote, you survived, and then lists the things that you survived. This is a little reminder. I thought I'd share this with you because the worst is clearly behind us, right? Hopefully those aren't famous last words. But in all probability, yes, the worst is probably behind us. XRP is finally sufficiently positioned in a way that we'd want it to be in terms of legal clarity. All sorts of things lining up, and I know we do need to see the stock market continue to rally to the upside, or else we might have some trouble in the world of crypto for a while. but it's possible that could happen. So I've never been more optimistic for XRP specifically, my largest individual crypto holding. But here's what he says we survived. And this is just a good point. 700 days of downside and chop. Bitcoin crashed from $68,000 to $15,000. The Luna crash, the FTX crash, Binance versus SEC, 3AC, 3 O's Capital, blowing up. You deserve this, fam. And of course, there's actually more than that. How about SEC v Ripple? And there were other catastrophes that happened along the way, especially in 2022. But for those of you looking at the screen, you can see the point that he's making here on the left. You have today's altcoin market, showing where we are right now, much lower than what we saw in the top for 2021. Now, if you look on the right, you have the 2021 altcoin market, and on the left side of that portion of the chart, you can see what happened in 2017 and 2018, which was monstrously high, right? It just looked like, but 2021 dwarfed it in terms of dollars. That is what we have to look forward to, I suspect. Now, that's what I hope. I mean, nobody knows for sure, again, and I always acknowledge that. But look at where we are at this point. The best is yet ahead. So that's why I just want to say, if the market pulls back, I don't say that to scare people. I'm just saying it's possible, just acknowledging reality. But my God, this is an exciting time to be in crypto. There's also this post from chart analyst Cryptos talking about XRP, and he wrote, XRP working on a daily inverse head and shoulders, daily 21 moving average, holding for now, will update XRP. And that's what he shared this afternoon. That's his most recent update. And of course, inverse head and shoulders, if this is indeed what's playing out here, that's definitely a bullish sign right there. So we would like to see that. Oh, and I wanted to mention this as well. This is just kind of fascinating. There's this headline from you today. Monster Bitcoin purchase mystifies community. I don't need to read the article. I just wanted to mention this. Invest Answers was talking about this, very popular chart analyst on social media platform X. And he wrote, Monster 1.3 billion Bitcoin buy. 26,200 Bitcoin at $51,000. Looks bullish, perhaps SWF, Jeff Bezos, Zuck, or some other high net worth individual. P.S. This is not an ETF wallet. So I don't know what that is, and if I find out, I'll be happy to report in the future, but I found this fascinating, and all sorts of crypto media outlets were talking about this, because that's not particularly common, and just broadly covered on social media as well. It's just fascinating that somebody's really confident, and usually if you have that kind of money, you're not as likely to be stupid and behave like a typical living retail speculator does, buying tops and whatnot. So presumably, whoever did this is very confident that Bitcoin's going to be moving much higher. And if that is indeed correct, XRP is coming along for the ride along with the rest of the altcoins. We are going to have a hell of a great time if indeed that is what comes to pass. So we're all going to find out together. But again, I personally am very optimistic. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.